Hey guys, so we just wrapped up our first online Street Fighter event for Schoolbus. It was a ton of fun. We had 8 players play, and we had some really cool matches and some upsets, and overall it was a pretty cool experience. I wanted to make this video just to, first talk about the event itself, and also I wanted to talk about some general Street Fighter information that, well, I guess knowledge that I've gained over the past year or so trying to play this game a bit more. So before we break down the tournament and I get into the information I wanted to cover, I wanted to talk about why Street Fighter 6 is such a great game to get into right now. Even if you've never played fighting games before, this is an attempt to try to get more people to come and hang out with us and play Street Fighter. So first, it's the most accessible Street Fighter ever. There's a control option called Modern Controls that lets you do special moves and combos with just a single button press in a direction, much like Super Smash Brothers, and that's actually how I play this game. I use modern controls most of the time. So that means you don't have to spend hours learning complicated inputs just to play. You can jump into the game, throw fireballs, and do supers, which is way more fun from day one. Second, this game gives you hype moments right away, whether it's landing a big super, or pulling off a clutch parry, or just having a wild scramble with your buddy. Street Fighter 6 is packed with those everyone's yelling at Discord types of moments.
Fuck you.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice grab.
This is gonna be a fair fight.
Throw that out there. I know you wouldn't mind.
And honestly, the best part is the group we've got. Playing together makes this game way more fun. Rivalries build, people improve. We talk trash to each other in Discord, and that kind of makes every set feel like a big deal when you play. So if you've ever thought about trying a Street Fighter game, or a fighting game in general, Street Fighter 6 is the easiest one to get into. And it still has all the depth to keep you learning forever, which is the fun part for me. It's just playing and improving and having a good time with your buddies. And specifically for our group, the more people who play, the more fun we all have.
I hope Fred's alright in Hawaii, dude. That hurt. That tsunami shit's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta finish our bracket here, you know what I mean?
I know, seriously. What's going on?
It's like, what do we do if he dies? Is there someone that can stand in? Maybe Kevin plays nice.
Alright, so here's the reason I'm making this video. We just wrapped up our 8-man event, and it was a blast, right? We had a lot of wild sets. We had some big upsets during the games. We had some funny mistakes, and we had some actual just legit good play. I think people leveled up quite a bit skill-wise during this event. And I wanted to put this together as sort of a mix between a highlight reel and a learning tool for everybody. The idea isn't to sit here and roast anybody or make it too serious. It's more about showing some of the matches, pointing out some stuff that worked, and talking through a few fundamentals that can help everyone level up. The cool thing about Street Fighter is that once you start to understand the basics, the game opens up in a way that's even more fun. You get more of those hype moments, and the trash talk gets way better because everyone's leveling up together. So in this video, I'm going to go over a handful of simple but really important ideas for Street Fighter, like defense, how to think about neutral, what to do after a knockdown, and how to build a basic game plan with your character. I'll show short clips from our matches and to explain each one, so you can have some ideas and see some of these concepts in action. And remember, it's not about memorizing advanced combos or all the frame data in the game. It's about building good habits that can make the game easier and more fun. Let's start with defense, because if your health goes below 0, you lose the game. First rule of defense, when in doubt, if you've never played against a character before or you have no idea what to do, just block low. Most damage comes from getting clipped by sweeps or low confirms, and you can react to everything else. You can react to jump-ins, you can react to overheads and DI, so just block low if you don't know what to do. Second, be mindful of throws. So if you keep blocking low and you're blocking and blocking and blocking, your opponent's eventually going to throw you. And you have an option for this. You can tech the throw, which is basically just pressing the throw input when they're throwing you, and you'll cancel it out. And then finally, be aware of the drive mechanics. There's an option you have on defense called drive parry. Use that. And you also need to be aware of drive impact. That's that red shiny counter move they'll throw at you. So get used to responding to the drive impact. It will save you a bunch of games. So here's a clip I'm going to show from one of the matches where somebody took a ton of damage because they were mashing buttons instead of just being patient and blocking low.
That felt good, didn't it? What a waste.
Judy wins! Round 1. Fight!
Next is neutral, which is just a fancy word for the part of the match where no one's hitting each other yet. This is arguably the hardest part of the game, and where most rounds are decided, because whoever controls neutral usually gets to start their offense first. So I'm going to try to break it down into 4 things to think about while you play neutral. First, you don't need to rush in right away. Every character has tools they're good at, whether it's long-range pokes like Sagat, fireballs from Ryu, or fast buttons up close like Jury or Cammy, one of the rushdown characters. Instead of running into your opponent's space, use what your character is strong at to test them. Play patient, put out your safe buttons, and let the match come to you. A lot of rounds are lost by just running face first into damage instead of letting the other guy make the first mistake. The second part of neutral, which is kind of building off the first part, is controlling space. Think of it as drawing a line in the sand, saying, this is my area, and if you cross it, I'm ready for you. This could be using a fireball to make someone jump to approach you, then you can hit them with a dragon punch. This could be a long poke with Sagat to make them come into a spot where they don't want to be. Or just standing at range and throwing projectiles at them, like JP is really good at. Where if they try to throw a move at you, you'll win and you'll hit them first. You don't always need to hit them first. Sometimes just showing that you're willing to press a button makes them hesitate. Good spacing makes the opponent feel trapped before you even land a hit. The third key is being mindful of jump-ins. In lower ranks, people love to jump in because the damage payoff can be big if it works out. But if you're ready, anti-airing a jump is one of the easiest and most reliable ways to shut down their game plan. Every character has some kind of anti-air button. It doesn't have to be flashy. Ryu has a dragon punch that's really cool, gets you big damage, but he also has some other heavy options that work out just fine. If your opponent is jumping a lot, just slow down and park yourself and swat them out of the air. Nothing takes the wind out of someone's sails faster than getting stuffed every time they try to jump in. And finally, don't fall into a pattern. If you always dash or always jump or always press the same button, your opponents will catch on. Neutral is about variety and adaptation, so make sure you use your different options. Also pay attention to what your opponent wants to do. Are they always throwing fireballs? Are they always doing the same poke? Are they always jumping after you knock them down? Once you notice a habit, you can counter the habit and shut them down and force them to do something differently. And that's when you get the advantage. That's what neutral really feels like chess too. You're not just playing the game, you're playing your opponent. You're reading their game as well. So neutral isn't about chaos or button mashing. It's about patience, controlling space, being ready for jump-ins, and learning to adapt. If you slow down and think about those 4 things, you'll win way more rounds. And notice we haven't talked about combos at all. And the reason for that is because they're the last things you should be focusing on, especially when you're first learning the game. So let's talk about Oki, which basically means the pressure you apply after you knock your opponent down. Knockdown is one of the best situations in the game for you because it forces your opponent to make a choice: block, mash, or reversal, and you get to act first. So we can break this down into 3 choices you have during Oki. The first and most common option is immediate attack. Immediate attack means that you throw in an attack in such a way that it's active right when they stand up. So the only option they really have is to block. If they press any other buttons, if they try to attack you, if they try to jump, they're going to get hit, and you get to keep the advantage on. Medias are also powerful because if they block, you still get to keep the pressure on because you'll usually be safe on block with whatever media choice you pick. Second option is the throw. If your opponent is just sitting there blocking on walking up and throwing them forces them to act. Throwing keeps them honest. You can't just hold down back forever. This doesn't mean you throw every time, but mixing it in is key. If you've meted them a couple times and they're scared to press anything, that's the perfect time to go for a throw. And once you hit them with their throw, now they have to start thinking about both, which opens up your offense. So the third option in Oki is to bait or shimmy. This is when you act like you're going to throw, you walk up close, but then you back off just slightly, right out of the opponent's throw range. If the opponent tries to attack the throw, they'll whiff, and you get a free punish. Baiting is great once your opponent knows you like to throw. It plays off their habits. The beauty of shimmying is that it makes your opponent scared to even try defending the right way. And once you've established that, your medias and throws get even stronger. So remember, after a knockdown, you've got 3 strong options. Meaty to keep your turn, throw to crack their guard, and bait to punish their habits. You don't need to get fancy, just rotate between those 3 and you'll turn every knockdown into a situation where you can win the round. Let's talk about building a game plan. A lot of lower rank players just kind of play moment to moment. They press buttons because they can or they jump because they're out of ideas, but having even a simple game plan changes everything. We can break it down into 3 parts and you can start using it right away. First, play to what your character's good at. Every character has strengths. Some have great long pokes, some dominate close up, and some rely on projectiles. Figure out what your character does best and shape your plan around that. If you're Guile, your game plan should revolve around controlling space with sonic booms. If you're Ken, you want to be up close and apply pressure. Don't just do random moves. Make sure what you're doing feeds into your character's strengths. Second, think about your win condition. That just means how do you actually want to win the round. Maybe it's getting your opponent to the corner, maybe it's fishing for a confirm into a super if you're a really technical player, maybe it's setting up one strong Yoki situation and trying to go for your big damage moves. Your whole plan should build towards that. Instead of just hoping something works, you're working towards a clear goal every round. My personal game plan with Honda is to keep the pressure on my opponent and force them to bad positions where they have to guess. Honda has a really great high damage command grab, and I like to alternate between that and my auto heavy combo into super in Oki situations. So to keep it simple, I could say something like my primary win condition with Honda is trying to force Oki situations where I can alternate between 2 of my high damage options, that being the command grab and my heavy auto combo. Third, adjust when your plan isn't working. If your opponent is shutting you down, don't just keep banging your head against the wall. Change it up, throw fireballs, slow down, or actually a really good option in this case is just to play defense for a while and try to see their patterns and where the openings are to attack them. Good players don't just have one plan. They have a plan A and then a plan B or C when things aren't working their way. But they'll stick to plan A normally when the match starts. So building a game plan doesn't mean memorizing a flowchart like you might see online. It just means knowing what your character wants to do, how you want to win, and being flexible enough to change when things aren't working. Even a really simple game plan will put you miles ahead of just mashing buttons randomly. To wrap things up, I want to talk about mindset in Street Fighter. You know, Street Fighter is a competitive game, and of course winning feels really good, but if you only focus on winning, you're going to burn yourself out. The truth is you actually learn the most when you lose anyway, so I can break this down in a couple different ways. Every loss gives you data. You see what worked, what didn't, and what your opponent did to punish you. If you win a match, you should just keep doing the same thing, but if you lose, you're forced to think about what went wrong and adapt and change. That's where the growth happens. That's how you get better. So instead of getting frustrated when you lose, even if you lost to some bullshit mechanic, look at it as free information. Each L is really a lesson, right? So I had a recent situation with this. I played Fred in our most recent tournament. In the winners finals, he beat me. That was, I think, an upset to everybody. He just flat out beat me, outplayed me. And I went back and watched the replays, and I was seeing what he was doing to beat me. He was doing a couple things that I wasn't catching on to mid-match. So the next time we played in the grand finals, I had caught on to those couple things, and those 2 changes I made to my game plan made a huge impact on the game. So about winning, the great thing is if you're just focusing on improvement and not worrying about the losses, the wins will just naturally come. You don't have to chase them. Think about part 1 of your game, like anti-airs or blocking or Oki, and just try to get better at that. When you stack those little improvements, suddenly the wins start showing up without even thinking about it. It's way more satisfying to know that you earned those wins by leveling up your play instead of just getting lucky and doing the same bullshit tactics you've been doing over and over again. And finally, remember why we're playing this game in the first place? Because it's fun to grow, to figure things out, and to improve together. Beating your friends is cool, but what really makes Street Fighter great is that the feeling of progress and leveling up match by match. So don't stress about the wins and losses. Focus on improvement. Enjoy the ride, and the wins will come on their own. That's the video. That's all I wanted to talk about. At the end of the day, Street Fighter 6 is just a straight up fun game. It's the easiest Street Fighter to get into. You know, modern controls make it super beginner friendly, and the best part is you don't need to know everything to have a good time. You don't need to know anything to get started with the game. So if you're not playing yet, come join us. Jump in and pick a cool character that you like and start swinging. I mean, you lose a lot at first. We all did, but that's how you level up. And honestly, the wins feel way better when you've earned them by improving. You know, I never played a fighting game before Street Fighter 6, and never in a million years would I ever have thought I would have made a master rank in a fighting game, but I did with this game in about like 100 hours of ranked. So if you're interested in playing and you have any questions, feel free to ask about it in the Discord. Anyone here would be happy to help you out. Or hop in voice with us one night when you see us all playing. I mean, we just hang out and bullshit and play the game. So that's that. Anyway, I hope that this is at least semi-helpful for you guys. Yeah, take it easy.